Hong Kong has seen its freedoms deteriorate over the years, but it fell off the cliff in 2020 when Beijing imposed the national security law. Hong Kong pro-democracy activist Nathan Law tells the Epoch Times American thought leaders that what Beijing is doing to Hong Kong is a wake-up call to the world.
What's happening in Hong Kong, what's happening in Xinjiang, and the rest of China is a wake-up call to the world that we must see it as our existential crisis.
China's communist regime is pushing its authoritarian model, hoping to spread it around the globe. Now it's touting itself as a superior alternative to Western democracy. One such effort is the National Security Law, a bill Beijing imposed on the city of Hong Kong last year. Since then, it has dramatically transformed Hong Kong's democracy and freedom.
I was a protest leader, and then I was a legislator, and then I was an inmate. And for now, I'm an exile activist doing a lot of international advocacy work.
Nathan Law is a former student leader in Hong Kong's democracy movement called the Umbrella Movement. The name comes from the umbrellas protesters used to protect themselves from tear gas used by police. Law was later jailed for his role in the protests. In 2016, he became the youngest legislative councillor in Hong Kong, but was soon booted out for altering his oath of office. He now lives in self-exile in London.
So for me, it is like the decline of democracy and the rise of authoritarianism is not an abstract theory. It's a painful and personal story.
Beijing's national security law on Hong Kong bans anything it deems crimes of secession and subversion, effectively helping the Chinese regime clamp down on Hong Kong's freedom. Long-established civil and political rights in the city, including freedom of expression, association, and peaceful assembly, are now being eroded. Once Asia's protest capital, Hong Kong authorities have arrested over 100 for violating the national security law and over 10,000 for their involvement in the 2019 pro-democracy protests. Law says the Chinese Communist Party is more technologically sophisticated today than ever before. He points out that growing a powerful economy was supposed to democratize China, but in reality, the country has been moving in the opposite direction.
The world had been really complacent towards the rise of China. We've opened up ourselves to them, including them in WTO, including them in all the international system. But we have not developed any mechanism to hold them accountable. It's just like we're inviting a wolf into the house.
Law says in recent years, there's been an international change of attitude on the subject after news broke out about Hong Kong's pro-democracy protests. Beijing's human rights violations began getting more attention. Law says the shift gives him hope for a coordinated pushback effort against Beijing.
I don't believe that Chinese Communist Party is something that would, let's say, face massive defeat in just a few years. It's a long road to go, but as long as we realize and understand the reality, and when we still choose to continue to fight, and that is where courage lies.
Law says as an activist, he's not entitled to lose hope, as that's what will support him through the long road ahead. Law calls what's going on in Hong Kong a wake-up call for the world, and says it's time to take human rights more seriously.